Today we are going to look at a wireless HDMI system to allow the output from a camera, laptop or PC to be remotely displayed or recorded. In filming these videos, I use a number of cameras. 2 Canon video cameras, a Blackmagic Micro Studio camera, and a Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 4K camera, plus the occasional use of an Acaso 7 LE camera. These all feed into a Blackmagic ATEM mini switcher to allow in-flight camera switching. As you would expect, there are a lot of cables involved, and I wanted to see if a wireless system would bring any benefits to recording hardware videos. This particular HDMI wireless kit is reasonably inexpensive, having been purchased from Amazon in the UK for £56, and it supports wireless 1080p resolution. There are, of course, more expensive and elaborate systems available, but I thought I'd start with this one. The kit comes with just 2 cables, one to act as the transmitter and one to act as the receiver. Each cable has a full-sized HDMI plug at one end and a USB-A plug at the other. It also has an HDMI extender adapter, plus HDMI to both micro and mini HDMI adapters, all enclosed in a handy zipped case. The beauty of this kit is that it really is plug and play. There are no apps or software to install at either end. You merely need to plug the transmitter cable into an HDMI socket and the USB-A end of that cable into something that can provide USB power. The receiver cable's HDMI plug can then be plugged into your receiving device and its USB-A plug of that same cable into a USB power source. So in testing this, there are several things I want to look at. Firstly, will it connect without any hassle? Secondly, will the quality of the wireless connection be comparable to a wired connection? And finally, as this is reported to be a wireless 5G connection, how well will it operate at range? So first, we need to record some footage of a wired connection for comparison. And to do this, I'm going to be using the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 4K camera. So we will connect the HDMI output from the camera directly to the ATEM Mini Pro switcher. So here we have the pocket camera directly connected to the ATEM Mini and pointing at a metronome to give us something moving to record. This will help to illustrate any lagging or dropped frames. I'm making no attempt to record sound directly from the cameras in today's video, perhaps we'll leave that for a later video. So, as expected, the direct connection shows no issues with either lagging or dropped frames. Next, we need to connect the transmitter cable to the camera and the receiver cable to the ATEM mini switcher. And both cables need to be connected to a suitable USB power source. Once both cables are connected to their devices and the USB power applied, they then attempt to connect wirelessly automatically. This does take a few seconds, but I have found no problems with them connecting. Once the connection has been established, the images from the camera appear on the output from the ATEM mini switcher. So we can now restart the metronome to see if there is any lagging or drop frames during this wireless connection. Well, so far I think we have passed the first 2 criteria. Connection has not been an issue and the quality of the received video is excellent. Of course, the distance this wireless connection is transmitting over is very short, as the camera is only at an arm's length from the switcher. So for the next test, we need to put some distance between the camera and the ATEM mini switcher. As this is a 2-storey dwelling, let's take the camera downstairs and see how well it performs. Now we are set up downstairs in my dining room studio. So let's get the metronome going to see how well the recording is going to look. This initially didn't look so good, but the problem was entirely down to the metronome, which is clockwork, needing to be wound up. After winding up, we can see that we have no drop frames and no lagging. So despite the camera being on a different floor from our recording device, the A10 Mini Pro, recording and transmission seems to be running well. So at this point, I decided to switch the USB power to the transmitter cable, this time to a small USB power bank, which can be easily attached to the camera to make it much more mobile. Again, there were no problems with the connection or the transmission. But can we push the range a little further? Just how far from the receiver can we go before we start to experience problems? So here we are in the wilds of my back garden. This needed to be a quick bit of recording between rain showers. But again, so far so good on the transmission, until this message pops up on the video. Switch Wi-Fi channel due to signal performance. So I think we may have reached the limits of stable transmission. But all in all, the performance of this wireless HDMI kit has been very impressive, given its low price and ease of use, and should make recording videos much easier without having to have long lengths of HDMI cable. However, that's it for today. Thank you for watching.